This is teaching Bishop Willie Dixon of a Craft for a Generation ministry. We're glad to be coming into your home by DVD, by way of the internet. We thank God for this opportunity to preach the gospel of the kingdom. I just want to talk to you a few minutes about healing. Healing is the order of the day. You know, when you sick, you say, well, I need to be healed. If you hurt your eye, your arm, you say, I need my eye to heal. I need my arm to heal. I needed to get well. I needed to be free from hurt. I need to be free from hurt and disease and sickness. So I need to be healed. Jesus said, by my stripe you are healed. In Isaiah the 53rd chapter, it say, by my stripe you are healed. Jesus died upon the cross that we may be healed. That we may be healed physically, that we may be healed naturally, that we may be healed spiritually. And if we trust him and cast our confidence upon him, he will heal us, deliver us, and set us free. We in a generation where people don't believe in being free, don't believe that God can heal, that God can deliver. They see people that are saved go to the doctor like they go to the doctor. Well, God give you knowledge. Give man knowledge how to help folks and to help each other. But out of all that, it come a time that man can't help you. His knowledge, his doctrine, his method of healing can't help you. Then it take God to heal you divinely. If you go back to the scripture and you read in the book of Mark, I believe the 7th chapter, you read where God healed the folk. You had the woman with the issue of blood. You had what a man had a daughter that was sick and was dying, and he came to beseech the Lord, the Master, to come to his house and to heal his daughter. But before Jesus could get there, the daughter had died. And Jesus went on to do whatever he had to do. He had another man had a servant, and his servant was sick. And his master came and say, I have a servant that is sick. Will you go and will you speak a word of healing to him? And Jesus said, I'm on my way. I'll go. He said, but master, I'm not worthy of you to come up under my roof. I'm not saved. I'm not a follower of you, but I just know you can do this. And you just speak the word, and my servant will be healed. And Jesus said, I hadn't seen faith like this in all of Israel. The man said, I know you a man of authority as I am. And when you tell your servant to go, they go. When you tell them to come, they come. He said, that's the same way I tell my servant. So I know you have control over this world and the world to come. So just speak the word. And Jesus spoke the word, and his servant got up and began to eat. So when the master got back home, he seen the servant up doing his work. He said, how long this been done? He said, what they said about yesterday, let's just say a time, about 3 o'clock. And he was healed. And he knew that was about the time that he had spoke to Jesus. And Jesus spoke the word of healing. The lady with the issue of blood, she said, if I can but touch the hem of his garment, I'll be made whole. She had went to doctors, and she had spent all her money. She was a wealthy woman, a well-to-do woman. But her sickness bankrupted her and put her in the red. And she didn't know what she was going to do. You know, after you go to doctor after doctor, and they give you the runaround, They drain you. They take your money. They won't just go on and heal a problem if they can. They prolong it so they can get money out of you. Some of them can't heal you, and they'll prolong it and get the money out of you. And this lady found herself bankrupted, broke, no money, a lot of medical bill, just like we do today. And she said in her heart, I done tried everything and now I'm broke. But if I just touch the hem of this man's garment, I'll be made whole. I'll be made healed. I'll be delivered. I'll be free of this condition. So it was so many people around Jesus, she couldn't just get up to him. She had to press. She had to push. She had to pull. She had to just divide folks out of her way to get up to Jesus. She got close enough. Well, with the tip of her finger, she could touch the hem of his garment. And she became whole. And Jesus felt the virtue that went out of her, out of him. He knew somebody had got healed. And he said, somebody touched me. And his disciples said, what? All these people around you, a lot of people touch you. Jesus said, no, somebody touched me by faith, that they will be healed and delivered. And the lady was in fear, and she came and fell before him on her knees, and she told the story. We had a man that was possessed with the devils, and he was sleeping in a graveyard where the tomb was, where the dead people were, and nobody could come by his way where he was, unless he'll jump out there and scare him or beat him half to death or drag him or do something to him, do some type of harm to him. But Jesus came and seeing the man, he spoke the word. The man was possessed with demons. I don't care what kind of healing you need. The healing is in Jesus Christ. Now, they tried everything they could for this man that was possessed with the devil. And bad came to worse. The man ended up leaving town and sleeping in the cemetery. And Jesus spoke that word, the man was delivered. But the demon spoke out of this man and say, why are you gonna cast us out? Where we gonna go? And it was about 2,000 swine or hogs were grazing in a pasture. And the demon said, the legion said, let us go into the swine. Now the word legion means many. 2,000 demons, and they got in them swine, and them swine ran over the cliff. Them hogs ran over the high cliff of the rocks and fell over in the water and drowned themselves. This man had all them demons in him. He didn't drown himself, but he was beating himself to death, cutting himself. He was just harming himself. But Jesus healed him. I done said all that to get to this point. It is God's will that we be healed, that our body be healed, that our mind be healed. That is the order of the day now, because there's so many people that is sick, so many people with mental problems. That's all that man that had them legion of demons had, was a mental problem. His mind wasn't stable, and he needed to be delivered. You had a woman that had a child, and this child was had devils in her, and the lady came and asked Jesus to heal her daughter. Jesus said, I only come to the house of Israel. He said, you all are dogs. And the lady say, but the dog get to eat the bread that fall from the children's table. And Jesus looked at her, he heard her remark, and he healed her daughter. Because this lady humbled herself. You want to be healed, you want to be delivered, you want to be set free, you have to humble yourself and realize it is God that heals, it is God that delivers, It is God that set free. Whether God choose to speak the word, or use a prophet, or use a preacher to speak the word, or whether he give a doctor or somebody knowledge to help you, he will heal you and deliver you. He will set you free. But we must first have to come humbly before God. And if you ask for something and don't get it, don't judge God foolish. Don't charge God foolish, but realize God will be done, whatever the case might be. But it is his will for you to be delivered, to be set free. It is his will for you to be well in your body, well in your soul, well in your spirit. It is God's will that your society be healed, that your society be well. He spoke in the 2nd Chronicle 14 chapter. If my people that is called by my name will humble themselves and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, I will heal them from heaven, and I will heal their land. He will heal your land, he'll heal your body, he'll heal your body if we will humble ourselves before him, knowing that when we come before him, he is able to deliver us, to heal us, to set us free. He is able to fix the situation that we done came in contact with or what done overtook us. Sometimes sickness, disease, cancer overtake your body. And it'll take God to get that disease off of you, to get that cancer out of your body, to totally deliver you, to totally set you free. God is a God that can deliver. God is a God that set free. He is a God that make whole. It is his will that we prosper in our soul. It is his will we prosper in our body as our soul prospers. We save, we deliver, we set free from the devil. It is his will that we prosper in our body as well as our soul prosper. That we can have good health in our kidney, good health in our limb, good health in our internal body, internal working organ, that we'll be delivered. That it won't be no spot of cancer on your liver, upon your kidneys, on your pancreas. It won't be no disease in your body. But we have to come before God. We have not because we ask not. The book of James, have there been a sick among you? Let's pray the prayer of faith. Let's reach out. Let's ask God to make us whole, to deliver us. Let's stop making excuses. A lot of times we make excuses and we learn how to deal with things. But let us take this before God. Let's not suffer being all alone by ourselves, suffer in isolation, suffer when the devil come to your mind and separate you from the people of God that have healing, from the people of God that have deliverance, from the people of God that have connection with God. Healing is the order of the day. Otherwise, this day is calling for healing. This time we're living in is calling for us to be delivered. It's calling for us to have help in our member, in our hands, in our tongue, in our eyes. How we going to do a work for God if we sick and we crippled, if we have diabetes, if we be blind, if we have cancer, if we can't walk? We need God to heal us and touch us. You say, well, what if you can't walk then? Well, God's grace in that case is sufficient for you. It's always a reason things happen. And sometimes God allow things to come up on you to cause you to humble your spirit, to cause you to humble your heart before him. Paul said, God's grace is sufficient for me. He said, now I besought the Lord thrice, meaning 3 times, about this condition that is in my body. And he spoke back to me, this is a messenger of the devil to buffet me. Well, Paul understood what was going on because Paul was speaking the word and everybody getting healed. Paul was being stoned to death, but yet he got up and walked and then stopped preaching the gospel. And then he said, God say, don't worry about that thorn in your flesh. He say, my grace is sufficient. And what we have to do is just put our complaint before God. Let him meet our need. Let him set us free. My mind go back to the man that was 38 years. They brought him to Solomon porch. And they brought him there to be healed when the water was troubled once a year. Once a year, God sent an angel down to trouble the water. And as many people that could get in the water first will be delivered, will be healed, will be set free. And this man managed to get somebody every year to take him to the pool. But he was never able to be the first one to get in the pool. So Jesus happened about one time, one of those years, after the first year, the second year, the 20th year, the 25th year, the 30th year, the 35th year. Jesus happened by at the 38th year when this man scuffled and did all he could to get into the pool. But yet he could not be first. So Jesus came by and said, will I be made whole? And the man said, but I have nobody to put me in the pool. We understand that ain't what Jesus asked the man. He asked the man, would he be made whole? But you got to look at the human side of a person. This man done tried it for 38 years. He said, look, I done tried. I ain't got nobody to help me. I ain't got nobody to put me in. And Jesus already has seen this man's condition. That's why he came to him. The trouble of the water was over with for that year. Somebody had got healed, but this man did not get healed. And Jesus asked him again, would I be made whole? And Jesus said, take your bed and walk. He said, you are whole and your sin is forgiven you. See, we need to get saved, delivered. Our sin need to be forgiven us, and our body need to be healed. Our mind need to be healed. And this man took up his bed by faith, and he walked. Another instant, Peter had a mother-in-law, and Jesus was at his mother-in-law's house. And he was in the house having a house service, and he was preaching the good news of the kingdom. He was preaching healing and deliverance. He was preaching being set free. And this man was sick, and he was paralyzed. He couldn't move. And Peter and them said, let's go on top of the house. See, Peter was daring and said, let's go on top of the house. And we can tear the top off and put the man down through it. And he'll get healed. It was Peter and them faith that got that man healed. When you ain't got enough faith for yourself, you need somebody around you that can believe God, that will trust God, that don't look at the odds, don't look at what's stacked against you, don't look at, you got to climb a little bit, you got to claw a little bit, you got to tear open a little bit to get what you need. And them people had faith. And what they did was, they lowered this man, and I could see 4 ropes letting this man down, where this man could get in the presence of Jesus. When you're sick and need to be healed, you need to get in the presence of Jesus. You don't need to worry about what people are saying, how people talking, how people don't want to help you, but you need to get in the presence of Jesus. And he will heal you. He said, now what is easy for me to say, man, take up thy bed and walk, thy sin be forgiven thee. And those good old church folk, Pharisees, they started marveling. And nobody never forgave nobody's sin, but God only one can forgive sin. And Jesus spoke the word, and the man was healed, he was delivered, and his sin was forgiven him.